Welcome to the Don't You Worry podcast. We're your hosts, Briley and Britton Caldwell, and we're here to say, don't you worry, through stories, encouragement, and joy. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's conversation. Hey guys, welcome back to the Don't You Worry podcast. We're your hosts, Briley and Britton. And today we have a special guest. We're so excited. We've got Reese Hodges on the podcast. Welcome, Reese.
Hey, guys.
It's so good to talk to you again. Me and Reese went to school together before we moved. So do you want to introduce yourself a little?
I'm Reese Hodges. I go to Halls High School. She used to go there, not anymore.
I did. I used to.
I'm a junior just like Briley, and I mean, I've adored her for so long. I'm so excited to be here.
You. It's so fun. I
it.
told Britton, I was like, because sometimes we go through a list of like, okay, who are some people that we definitely need to get on soon? And I was like, Reese. We're going to do Reese. I'm going to see if she'll do it. So it'll be good. But do you want to ask her an intro question? Okay, so just a fun little get to know you. So this is kind of random, but if a novel was written about your life, what genre would it be? Like, would it be comedy? Like what? And why?
All right. I'm going to say not murder mystery.
That's good.
Probably not romance. That's a good question. Probably like a comedy filled with like a little bit of drama, you know? Like just a little bit of spice in there.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
Definitely more comedy, I'm going to have to say.
That's good. Because you're a big reader, right?
I am.
Yeah. Okay, so what else do you like doing? What do you love doing? And you're a junior, you're halfway through your junior year. So what does life look like for you right now?
Well, as you said, I do love reading.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I've kind of been in a slump. It kind of depends on where I'm at, but sometimes I'm reading a lot. Sometimes I'm not reading at all.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
That's
though.
real.
I really like to write, whether it's like a poem or just like, you said you were in journalism. I would love to do something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't really have the opportunity. But yeah, I love writing, being anywhere with my friends, and yeah, just stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you gotten to do anything fun, like with friends specifically this year? Like anything big?
Anything big? Oh, I actually have to think about that. I got to go to Biltmore with my choir.
Yeah.
And it was so good. It was so fun. But, like, nothing specific that I can think of with just, like, me and my friends, you know?
Yeah.
We just like to hang out and do cheap things because we don't have a lot of money.
That's also
real.
Yeah.
Just go get dinner or something.
Definitely. So you said you write poems because
Yes.
I was showing her some of your poetry.
Yes.
I was like,
So
it's
good.
so good. So what inspired you to do that?
I've always liked writing. I knew I wanted to do something like that, like when I graduate. But I started writing poetry in 8th grade freshman year just because I guess I was bored. I saw one of my friends doing it, and I was like, I think I'm going to pick that up.
Yeah.
And then it got less of just doing random stories or something to being more about me and what I believe in and what I know. And especially, like, I want it to be more Christ-centered now. And it's just gone to be like a really big part of me now than before. It wasn't really anything, but now it's like, this is me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. When did you like actually find your faith? Like when did you believe in Christ? Like what's your story with that?
Okay. I have always like known of Jesus and God. Like I grew up with my family always going to church and everything, but I didn't really know what it was like to be a follower of God or anything. Then it was either 8th grade or 9th grade, I think. I went to this fall retreat with my church, Fellowship. Shout out Fellowship. Love it. And it kind of opened my eyes, like, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
You need to be locking in. But I didn't know where to start or anything. Like, I got a new Bible, but I wasn't really in it. And then, like, I started doing poetry, I started writing, and I started thinking more about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I had to go over I was kind of getting anxious and a ton of stuff was happening. And then last summer, I went to a student life camp with Whitestone Church, not my home church, but love it. Shout out Whitestone.
Yeah.
And it just really woke me up. Like, I wanted to be in the Word. I wanted to go out and do things. Like, that's what really pushed me. And then after that, I knew that I wanted to get baptized because I've been thinking about it for a while, but I just didn't take the step.
Yeah.
And then one time, I think it was the pastor at Whitestone Church that was like, hold on, I'm thinking, it's a really good line. It's delayed obedience is still disobedience.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like, okay,
That's good.
I wanted to get baptized like a year ago. What was I waiting for? So then I went to go talk to people at my church, and I was like, hey guys, I want to get baptized. And then I got baptized like 3 months ago, I think.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. So how do you think that like learning more about God over the last couple of years has like led into like your poetry, like you write all about him?
I mean, let's see. It started out, like I said, like random stories, just a prompt that a friend would give me, or writing about a song that I'd listen to, because I've always really liked listening to the words and stuff.
Yeah.
But then once I started realizing that Jesus is more than just like a character in my life, like he is my life, then I was like, why not?
Yeah.
And once I was learning more and seeing more, then it really got into my poetry, because then I knew. And it's like, it's what matters in my life now. So then I had to start writing about it, because it's really mostly what I care about.
Yeah, I love that.
It kind of like too, I was reading it and it was like, it's just overflowing with like everything about Jesus. I was like, this is so good. I just love it.
I actually really appreciate that.
No, it's so good. And you said, okay, so you said something about that you had also dealt with anxiety, and like obviously our podcast is called Don't You Worry. So I try to ask people, like, how do you think that you like kind of got free from your anxiety, if that makes sense? Not that like you never have it.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't really think I knew what was going on. Like, I didn't know I was anxious or anything. I just knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And I was just going down a path of, I pretended to care about Jesus, but I was kind of lukewarm, you know what I mean? And I kept praying, but I wasn't praying with the right heart and the right mind. And then once I realized, like, I need to step up and actually mean what I'm saying and do what he's calling me to do, then I just had to surrender it all and give it to him. And once I surrendered it all, and I remember, like, I don't remember where, I think I was just in my room, and I was like, this is it. I don't know what I'm waiting for anymore. And I just prayed, and I was like, I give it all to you.
Yeah.
And I think that is what really helped me, just pushing it out of my life and just staying closer to God.
Yeah. And knowing that like through him too, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
it's not he's in control instead of you. So like you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. What do you think the hardest part about being like a Christian girl in high school is? Is it dealing with the worries, or is it like thinking about what other people think about you? What do you think that is?
For me, I'm sure Briley knows this. I don't really, like, I care about what people think about me, but I don't stress over it or anything, and I don't, like, it doesn't go to my head.
Yeah.
I think one really hard thing for me is contentment with where I am and not judging other people, because I think it's easy for me to think really highly of my faith or really lowly of my faith, depending on like social media or the people around me. And no matter what, like, I'm always, or like, I'm not always, obviously, but I'm really trying to stray away from judging other people when I don't know what their mind is like, what they're actually thinking.
Yeah.
And with contentment, it's like, I really struggle with wanting to be where I'm at and not looking to the future or wanting something more than where I am.
Yeah.
Seeing other people having what you think that you want or you need, but really it's just
Yeah.
you're okay where you are now.
Yeah. I think like comparing yourself with other people, like,
That's
oh,
a
I'm a
hard
better
one.
Christian
Yeah.
than them, or it's like, oh, wait, no, I'm not. Then it's like, you don't know where to put yourself.
Yeah.
You have to just think like, here's where I am.
I feel like that sometimes like I have to stop myself, especially before I like really, really know someone. If I just know them, I'm like, okay, so like you've done this and you've done this. And it's
Yeah.
like just a judgmental thing that
Yes.
like people, I guess, we just like do. But then I'm like, no. See, we're all like, because we're on our own path.
Exactly.
Like, is what you're saying, that like you've got to focus on your own rather than say like, oh, I'm not as good as this person, or
Yeah.
I'm not as bad as this person.
Like I never know, and I'll look at someone and I'll see what they're doing or what they're choosing, but it's like I'm not them. Like I don't know what I would do in that situation, and I don't know
Yeah.
how I would cope with it. So all I can do is pray for them and pray for myself, because like I'm just as bad as they are, as everyone else is.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think like if every time we tried to compare ourselves to people, we just like prayed for them instead.
Yeah.
it would be such a better situation.
Because honestly,
Because I'll sit there and then I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have thought that about that person, or like I shouldn't have done this. But then if I just pray for them, like it makes it seem like more, I can see it from their perspective a little bit. Like obviously you don't know their whole situation, but it's like, okay,
More
this is not me. So I don't even know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
What have you learned about God like throughout high school that you like didn't know before? Like obviously you said that you like learned a lot more about who he was and that you needed him. But
Yeah.
is there anything like specifically throughout high school you've learned?
I think after student life camp, especially, like that was when I started actually feeling it and having so much to learn. Like, first of all, I'm realizing there's a lot to learn.
There is a lot.
And we're never going to get tired of that. There's always going to be something new. But recently, God has just been revealing in my life that, how do I say this? I guess just he's everything.
Yeah.
Like, my life isn't anything without him. And everything that I have good in my life is because of him, and I don't need any of it.
Yeah.
And everything that's bad in my life is just a lesson that will get me closer to him. And I think that he's definitely been revealing that to me, because I was actually thinking about this the other day and writing about it. My life is just an ode to him. And I have to get out of wanting anything else.
Yeah.
Like I said, with contentment. Like that's one reason why I think he's revealing it to me.
Yeah.
I just have to live for him and get rid of anything that's getting me away.
Yes.
Yeah. I think another thing that like stresses people out our age is not like the part about contentment that they want more right now, like because they know what they want, and it's good to know like what your dreams are, what you want, but they want it right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, actually, so I want this relationship right now. So we're just going to go to this instead, or I want, whatever. So I think it's important to like figure out, okay, how can I just take everything I've got right now and like be grateful for it, for where I'm at and where God has me.
I definitely worry about that. And actually, I think after student life camp, what can I say? That's when it was less worrying about worldly things like that, and more it's like, which I know this isn't good, what I'm about to say, but I think I definitely worry a lot about doing what God has for me and putting into action what he's asking me to.
Yeah.
And like, I should have faith that what's going to happen is his will if I'm holding fast to him. But I think that's one struggle that I have, just worrying that it'll go wrong.
Yeah.
When really it's all in his control.
Yeah. I think like the intention of it though, like what you were saying, that like you're fearing God or fearing things, like it can be good because then it pushes you to do things that are eternal. Like you said, you obviously aren't going to like be stressed about it or you're going to try not to stress about it if you know that you can just trust him with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's important to focus on, okay, what is eternal that I need to be focusing on instead of stressing about something for like a couple weeks that's not going to matter.
And obviously you're a super joyful person, we can tell.
Yes.
So how do you like really pour into other people's life and just be a positive influence around other people?
Well, because you're such a good friend. Like, I'm just gonna cut in. Like, I was telling her, like, when I went to school with you, I feel like anyone we were around all the time, you would just like make sure you would talk to them, even if you didn't like them. You would just be like, "How's your day going?" And like, you would, if it was ever awkward in a room, you'd be like, "So how are you guys doing?" So anyway, you can answer our question now.
Actually, I don't know if this is important, but I still have that paper that you gave me that says, like, it's my name or something, and it says, "You're the best. I love you." Yeah, I still have it. It's hanging up on my bulletin board.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. We had home ec together.
Oh.
And we would just draw each other pictures.
Yeah.
And we got
It was so fun. But anyway, I think I've always, like, ever since I was little, I've been kind of more of a joyful person. Mm-hmm. And I guess then it came easy. Like, my mom is super talkative. I definitely get it some from her.
Yeah.
But I think more recently it's less about, oh yeah, I'm always going to be joyful. And it's more about, I want to focus on pouring into other people the way I do. Mm-hmm. And why would I be sad when I could be happy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that sometimes I just really want to be like down in the dumps or something, and then I have to pull myself out of that because that's not fruitful. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
So it's better to just be happy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes. And do you think like being like specific with the relationships, like with your friends, it's like, do you think it's easy for you to like pour into other people?
It depends on the person, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like friends that I'm really close to, I always want them to make sure they're known, they're loved, and they're noticed.
Yeah.
That's just always been a really important thing for me because I know how bad it is to like just be set off to the side, and I don't want anyone to feel that way. Mm-hmm. But even people that I'm like not close to, or like sometimes they get on my nerves, it's a little harder. Yeah. But I have to keep the right mind in the right headspace. And like, once again, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's going on. Yeah. And I have to keep wanting them to feel seen, even if, not that I don't want to see them. Like, I want to pour out joy to them, but sometimes it's just hard.
Yeah. I think that's a good point though, that like, because God wants us to feel seen because like by him, and he wants us to feel known. So the fact that you even like think about doing it with other people like shows that he's working through you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had one like specific takeaway for our listeners from this episode or like about your life, what would that be?
Honestly, just always wanting to be who you are for God first.
Yeah.
Always being joyful or sad when you need to be, but also pouring your heart out to other people, wanting them to feel God more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely really been important for me through my whole life, I guess. Just focusing on living your life, not for you, for God.
That's good.
Yeah, and just being a light for other people, having him work through you. Just when you walk in a room, everyone's better for it.
Yeah. I like what you said though, like you're focusing on your own walk with God. So like that's when you're focusing on yourself is when you're focusing on how am I doing with this?
Yeah.
But then you're also not living your life for yourself.
Yeah.
So you're living your life for God, and then you're living your life to show others who God is.
Yeah. And it's also like you're living your life for God, but I can't remember where I was thinking about this or talking about this, but it's like whenever you're going through something, you're not, like, it isn't your own strength either. Yeah. Because you're always like, oh, I have to get better for God for this, or I have to do this to be better, but really you, like, that's through God that you're doing that. That's his strength. That's his joy showing through you. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, this has been so fun. I'm so glad we got to have you on the podcast.
I'm so glad to be here.
I love it. I hope people learned from your wisdom and your joy.
I know I did.
It was a great episode. And maybe we'll link like your poetry on one of that. Like we'll link one of your poems because that'll be really good. And I think people need to read it.
Yeah. Join us back next week for another great conversation.